Welcome back to the Shankly Sessions, folks, the Liverpool podcast we bring you each and every day. If you could head out there and smash that subscribe and bell notification button. Of course, it's located on the upper tier channel. Tonight we're going to bring you a preview, a massive game for the Reds, Liverpool versus Real Madrid, coming at you Tuesday. Absolutely massive game, and it feels like, it was only 2 days ago we were beating Newcastle, and it feels like a lifetime away now when you've got such big games on the horizon. Before we get into the preview, as always, if you could like on the video, subscribe on the channel, and hit the bell notification to be notified whenever we go live, as we do nearly daily with our content. Also, I hope you're enjoying all the shorts out there at the moment. We're dropping shorts now on a daily basis. Of course, let us know your thoughts on them as well. Any interaction we love, especially in the chat on the live shows or in the comments on the shorts. Few things I took out of the presser today, which is fairly interesting looking at the press conferences. One was, it looked like Darwin Núñez is going to make the team and he's going to play, fingers crossed. Looks like there's a little bit of pain there, but he may be okay. He's going to be assessed. Sounded from the gaffer like he was going to play him, so that's hopefully good news. He's going to be crucial, especially in a game like this. The other bit of news that we're hearing, which isn't great news, of course, is that the man who wouldn't let a bus go by him last June, Thibaut Courtois, is after passing fit from a hamstring injury and is available to play. And that's going to be a real kicker for us, because he was sensational in the final last year. And not even talking about the Vinny Jr. goal, but he literally won that game for Real Madrid. He was so good. He just kept everything out. He was unbelievable. But since then, his form has somewhat dipped slightly. There's been a few goals going in and stuff like that, and we even seen it in the group stages of the Champions League as well, where a group that they were in with Celtic, Shakhtar Donetsk, and RB Leipzig, Group F. A group that they probably would have been expected to sail through. At times they made hard work of. But yeah, interesting comments from the gaffer today. He was asked about the comment. It seems like we play these guys every year, and the same comment comes up all the time. Revenge, revenge, revenge. And it's always come up, namely since the Salah injury with Ramos in 2018. This has been coming from. But I think when you look at these situations, it's not really revenge. Because even if we were to go out tomorrow night and say beat these 3-0 or 4-0 or whatever it is, it's not really revenge for last June, is it? Because like they're down in the record books and the history books of winning that final. And beating them in around the 16 or whatever it is doesn't really cut the mustard in terms of revenge. Yeah, of course, we'd love to do it. And I've often said for Liverpool as well, in Europe, because we're such European royalty and heritage, I think we're capable of beating anyone over two legs. Now, naturally, I would like the second leg in Anfield, but this time we're going first leg in Anfield because we came second to Napoli in the group, and that's the way the draw was made. But I would fancy us to do okay tomorrow night. My fear is when we go to the Bernabeu that the intensity of that atmosphere and stuff like that will feel like a final more so than tomorrow night. I know that our gang and our group and our fans and all will do everything they can tomorrow night to spur the team on. And our form has turned around in the last two games. Thank God, perfect timing at the moment. And with players coming back and like that to bolster the squad has made a huge difference as well. So I like the way Jurgen Klopp handled himself in the press conference today and the way he spoke about the revenge thing and stuff like that. And it's sickening, like the report that came out, the independent report about what went on at the final last year. None of it is laid at Real Madrid's door, but naturally with sort of players' families and friends and all that kind of thing being heavily involved in and stuff like that. And, word I'm sure got to the dressing room, and I'm sure players were worried as well. And we also had to play some players through injury. We know Thiago was probably carrying a knock. We know Fabinho was probably carrying a knock. Both of them might have been on pain shots. Who knows? Certainly didn't seem themselves at times. And we still played a really, really good game. And on another night, we could have beaten them 3-1. But that's all history now. And tomorrow night is about starting a new chapter. Hopefully, creating some more and new history, and hopefully the right way for us this time. Because, like I said, we just play these guys so many times now. The relationship we have with them, it's like a bad breakup, isn't it? That keeps on getting back together and then breaking up again and again and again and stuff like that. So, and of course, Ancelotti being such a master as well. What a manager he is, and they've an amazing team. And I like the way Klopp approached that today as well. He was talking about their players, and he goes, he was asked about tactically how does he set it up and stuff like that, and he says, "Well, you worry about Benzema, and then Valverde crops up, or Rodrigo crops up, and then Tchouaméni hits a 25-yarder, and then Camavinga does something, and Tony Cruz and Luka Modric, and he says, so how do you naturally prepare for a certain situation? Vinny Jr. and all this, and they've got so many talented players who can put the ball into the back of the net. We say it all the time, you need 11 players there tomorrow night, really, really strong, 100% concentration, 100% of the time. I say it nearly on every show at this stage. And I think the way he handled the press conference today, I got the feeling that he has the lads ready for this match. He's prepared them well. There was just been kind of an air of confidence about him without an air of arrogance. Which I really, really like. He understands and he respects fully Real Madrid and the history and all that kind of stuff and how good the players are. But he also knows how good his own team are, and he understands how important the 12th man at Anfield is. The cop and full voice, the banners, the flags, that Champions League music when you come out, the chills you get coming out. You see that beautiful Liverpool sign over the door and all, and the history that it carries and all. And that can have an effect on teams, and we're going to need to really be on it tomorrow night, because if we're not really careful and if we come out not prepared the way we should from minute one, this game and tie could be over very, very quickly. So let's get into the preview. Look, we know the history around the last final. We know what went on. We know all the things. I was in Aintree Racecourse that night. I did an interview for Sky Sports. It was heartbreaking, and it was heartbreaking for the fans there. And then Jurgen, I think, made the point today that although you can't lie at Real Madrid's door, there was fans who eventually got into that match who wouldn't have been in the right frame of mind from what they've seen and stuff like that. And hopefully tomorrow night will be a very different story, and it should be. So when we let's look at the preview. As we said, Vinny Jr. and Courtois take all the plaudits, but of course, for that last final in June, but of course it is overshadowed by what took place outside. Very, very difficult at the time, especially with a damning report that came out there last week. Originally trying to lay the blame on Liverpool fans very quickly. It was made very clear that certain people in higher positions hadn't done the work that they should have been doing, and it's not the first time that things broke down at that stadium. But it's a different story tomorrow night. It's our backyard, it's Anfield, and we'll show how a match should be ran and how fans should be treated. And Jurgen made the point as well that Real Madrid fans going around the city, they should be welcomed in, and the bars and the pubs, and build a great atmosphere, and go into the match with a great atmosphere, no trouble and stuff like that. And whichever team's the better team is the better team. And that's what I really liked about the presser today. But when we look at it, very few teams this season have boasted a win against Napoli. And after that absolute disastrous start we had in the group stage, we kind of would have been forgiven for going out nearly at the group stage, but we went on a run and won our next 5 games, some of them comprehensively, in what was deemed to be a reasonably tough group with Napoli and Ajax in it, and then Rangers propping it up. And even Rangers at times gave us a bit of a go, even though the scoreline wouldn't have suggested that, but certainly they were competitive at times in both games. We collected, 15 points from a possible 18, winning 5 in a row after being humbled 4-1 in that loss at Napoli on match day 1, which was just a real down point at the start of the season. Let's get into some of the comments. Acers is in there. Thiago Alcantara is such a massive loss for both legs of these fixtures. It could have been Liverpool's only hope for qualifying for the quarterfinal stages. Yeah, I would have agreed there 2 weeks ago with you with that, but the way I've looked at the midfield and the way it's kind of stepped up, and especially Stefan Bietic, I think Fabinho is starting to show shades of his old self again. I think Jordan Henderson is starting to influence games a little bit more again. Um, and we have to say, look, Thiago has been playing in games where we've been on that bad run, and in fairness, he has been one of our better players in there. So no fault tends to be laid on him. But he also played in that final last June as well, and we know he was probably carrying a knock. So I'd say certainly I would much prefer to have him in there. His creativity and his passing and everything else could to unlock Real Madrid would be massive. But the fact is, we don't have them, but we have three really, really good midfielders who are hitting their form again now, especially in the Newcastle game and in the Everton game. Really, really looked impressive. So I'm not as worried about Thiago's absence as I was 2 weeks ago when I heard he was going to be missing. And who knows, we might have him back potentially for the second leg. And Mark Forrest is in. How are you, Mark? Good to see you this evening, my mate. Going to be a tough slog. Need to hit him with our fast tempo and stretch him. Yeah, absolutely stretch the play. That's what I'm saying. Keep on going down the wings and stuff like that. Spread the ball wide and stuff like that. Get the ball into Nunes quick, and that's what we spoke about on the match reaction the other night. Hit Salah early, hit Nunes early, bypass things and stuff. Take players out of the game. Don't necessarily be trying to be getting too clever playing out from the back and stuff like that. These are really, really good footballers. You know what I mean? And the likes of Kroos and Modric, Tchouameni, if he's available, Camavinga, players like that, even Benzema, they will absolutely smother you in your own half, given the opportunity. So sometimes it's not too bad to change it up. Go long if you have to and hit them and stuff like that. Uh, Elliot slotting in for Hendo, going for a 2-1 win. Elliot slotting in for Hendo would really concern me insofar as the physicality of Cruz and Modric might be a problem there. That would be my concern on that one. I think we need to be. I think we need a bit more physicality in the midfield to be dealing with Real Madrid. That's my only concern, Mark. Um, so let's look then. What else have we got? Our team has only suffered just one Champions League last 16 exit in the last 5 years, going down to Real's near neighbours Atletico Madrid in 2019-20, and that was terrible as well. I mean, that shouldn't have happened either. Real at the weekend secured their fourth successive win in all tournaments on Saturday, defeating Osasuna 2-0 in La Liga, thanks to second half strikes from Valverde and Asensio. Asensio, a man that we've been linked with on a number of windows. But it's no secret they have struggled this season, and injuries has been a big part of that. They have been leaking goals. And obviously losing, I think they lost Benzema to injury, they lost Courtois to injury. We'll talk about team news in a minute, but there's issues there around Tchouameni as well and Tony Kroos and stuff like that. So you never know. It might help us somewhat, but just Courtois being back in there, he's going to be a huge boost for them and stuff like that. Mark back in. Was going for pace. That's why I want him over Hendo. Yeah, I think I see where you're coming from with it. The only thing I'd say is the physicality of those boys in midfield. I don't think he'll get the chance. They're such wily veterans, let's say. Um, I think they'll smother the kid, and that's what I would be concerned about, Mark. That he wouldn't be able to be as effective as he should. Um, and I think we have to play Hendo. I think we have to play Hendo. And I think what we'll have to do is we'll have to look at our passing and stuff like that to open them up, especially with Stefan Bietic. We know he can pick a pass. Hendo can pick a pass on his day as well. But that's why I was talking about how pivotal, um, you know, Trent, obviously, Robbo. If Matip comes in for Joe, I'm not too sure who's going to play at the back. It could be Joe, but they're going to need to come out and pick passes as well, the way Matip sometimes comes out, and Virgil. But essentially as well, Allison as well. It's going to have to confuse the hell out of them at times. Not just continually play it out from the back, but do what he kind of did against Newcastle the other day. Change it up a little bit. Hit long balls into the pockets there for Salah and stuff like that. And just keep them on their toes, concerned about what we're going to do, not the obvious. Ancelotti is a master at studying us and stuff like that. And look, how much games have we played together at this stage? These players nearly know each other inside out at this stage, you know. Morris is in the comments. GP Productions, go check it out. Anything can happen at this stage of the Champions League. Well, anything except Chelsea winning it. I have a funny feeling. I think they might be okay against Dortmund, Morris. I spoke to Morris about this already as well. I do think if Chelsea were to lose to Dortmund and go out, I think that might be the end of Potter. I think that might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Let's say if Dortmund were to dump them out of the Champions League, especially in the predicament they're in. Terrible result earlier. And of course, don't forget to join us at 8 o'clock, 1 hour earlier tonight. We're going to have the Monday mashup where we're going to be reviewing all the Premier League action. And we're also going to be talking about all the latest new headlines and paying a little bit of a tribute to the one Dickie Davis who passed away yesterday. Made a big part of my childhood and stuff like that on Saturday afternoons as results and goals and everything went in. How could we forget that old video printer that at full time and stuff that felt like it felt like someone on a typewriter with a camera or something like that. But good times, good times. Let's look at form at the moment. If you look at Champions League form for Liverpool at the moment, one loss right at the start of the group against Napoli, an absolute pasting. And then we went on a run of 5 wins to reach second, and only second on goal difference. So we matched Napoli form-wise. Overall, in our last 6 games, we've got, 3 wins, 2 losses, and a draw. We don't need to talk about the 2 losses and the draw. We know what happened there. For Real, like I said, made slightly harder work of it in the Champions League with 4 wins, a draw, and a loss. But the draw and the loss came pivotal in match week 4 and match week 5. And people were even talking that they could have potentially went out, but I never felt that way anyway. And then overall, they sprung back a little bit with their form, although they're 8 points off Barcelona at the top of La Liga. They have been leaking goals somewhat, but they've gone on a run of 5 wins and 1 loss in their last 6 games in all competitions. So seem quite back to form. They have had a few players back and stuff like that. Team news for Liverpool. Of course, Ibu is out Canate. Luis Diaz, we've seen great pictures of him at the moment training and doing a little bit of work and stuff like that and a bit of light jogging and stuff like that. Good to see him out on the turf again. Certainly we've missed that boy at times. Thiago, as we spoke about already, we'll certainly miss his creativity, his eye for a pass and stuff like that. But again, as Mark said in the comments, it's all about pace and tempo and stuff like that. And sometimes Thiago can slow us down slightly, but has a great eye for a pass and stuff like that. And we might miss, of course, his physicality as well. I mean, this year in midfield as well, not only has he been excellent going forward and picking a pass and his creativity, but he's got stuck in at times as well, and his tackles have been unbelievable and well needed. Arthur, of course, the hologram hasn't shown yet. What did we have so far? 15 minutes since we signed the loan deal or something like that, but he's due back pretty shortly. And Calvin Ramsey as well continues to be missing. And then, of course, just that doubt over that shoulder injury with Nunes, but it looks like the gaffer alluded to the fact that he might be available tomorrow. So certainly we're going to need Darwin Nunes to cause that craziness. And also his pace there will be absolutely vital. For Real, Tchouameni and Toni Kroos are trying to recover from illness, so may or may not take part. Mendy and Diaz are injured, but of course the news we didn't want to hear, not that we'd wish an injury on any player, but Thibaut Courtois has recovered from a hamstring injury, which is the news no Liverpool fan wants to hear. Let's look at possible lineups here for Liverpool. I think he'll just stick with what he had before. I don't think he's going to change a whole lot up. The only difference that you're looking at really is Jota might come in for Nunes if Nunes doesn't make it, or if he feels he can only give a certain amount of minutes. That's what I would say has been the only change from the Newcastle game. I think everything else will remain the same. Alisson, Trent, Gomez, Van Dijk, Robertson, Jetic, Fabinho, Henderson, Salah, Gakpo, and either Nunes or Jota. But what it does is it gives us options there. Bobby will be on the bench, so he can come in if we need something to change up a little bit. Elliot, I think, will be there available if we need to change things up a little bit. So we'll see how it goes. But looking for a solid performance tomorrow night and a good result to take back to the Bernabeu, hopefully. For Real Madrid, Courtois looks like he's going to be in. That's Carvajal, of course, Militao, Rudiger, Alaba. Now, Alaba is one that we could potentially get at, and Nunes could be the one to get at him potentially. Then you're going to have a midfield of Cruz, Camavinga, Modric, Valverde, and then probably up front Benzema and Vinicius Jr. back to haunt us again, but hopefully not. Solid team there, isn't it, Real Madrid? Just look at that mix of youth and experience that's in there. And of course, now that they've added Rudiger as well, I mean, we're familiar with the boy from Chelsea and stuff like that, but what a player he is in there with Militao, Carvajal and all, and Courtois at the back there, Alaba, a midfield of Cruz, Camavinga, Modric, Valverde, and all. Like these are awesome players and stuff like gonna have to be really on it tomorrow night, big time, you know, and no surprise, Real Madrid. But look, we look forward to it. You know what I mean? These are the challenges we face. And look, it wouldn't be the first time that we put a big Spanish side out of the tournament and stuff like that. Not that we'll be putting them out tomorrow night. It's only the first leg. Mark, back in the comments, going to have a strong switched on defense. Absolutely. Someone has to be drilling into Joe Gomez tonight. 100% concentration. 200% of the time, Joey. Don't let us down, Joey G. Don't have a mare. Don't switch off. And I'd also like to see Virgil van Dijk going out and being a little bit more aggressive than he was against Newcastle. I would fear for us if we're going to get that kind of standoffish approach, because the quality that's in the Real Madrid side, if we were to cough up the chances that we gave to Newcastle, we can't continue to depend on Alisson to do it every single game. And I think that Real Madrid side with those players, the likes of Benzema and Vinicius Jr. there, Valverde and all, they'll put those chances away because they're just too good. So we have to be so careful. Had a look at the betting today. Liverpool are 5-4, Real are 2-1, and the draw is 12-5. The odds kind of weighted in our favour because it's at Anfield, and I think that's something that we have to bear out. In a one-off game, I think it would be very different, but the fact that it's over 2 legs, you'll find that this will flip itself when it hits the Bernabeu. I looked at potentially 2 bets there that are value for money, which will kind of give away. I'll give you my prediction first, actually, because if I show you the bets, it'll give away the prediction anyway. I hope we win. I really hope we win. But this Liverpool team, they like doing things the hard way, don't they? They like dragging us through the mire and the anxiety and the nervousness. So I'm thinking tomorrow night's going to be a 1-1 draw. That's what I'm thinking. And if you want to have a bet, you can go Salah first goal scorer with a 1-1 draw is 30-1. Or if you want to go a 1-1 draw with Benzema as the first goal scorer, it's 25-1. There's the value that's there. Of course, all our pricing is brought to you by Boyle Sports. Yeah, so that's it, folks. That's the preview for tomorrow night. Praying that we can bring a lead to the Bernabeu. Hopefully no more injuries. Hopefully Núñez makes it. And then we will have a match reaction tomorrow night, probably around 10:15. I'm not sure. I think it's an 8 o'clock kickoff. So we won't be done and dusted till about 10. So maybe 10 past 10, 10:15. But you'll see it if you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification. And of course, a like on the video tonight as well. Mark's of the same opinion as me. Need the advantage. Yeah, need to take some sort of an advantage to the Bernabeu. And of course, we have to go there then and try and protect it as well. As away goals don't count anymore. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Just keep it nice and tight, and try and pinch a few goals. You know, do the sort of step up like we did in the Newcastle game and stuff like that. Come alive at certain points, but just don't cough up some of the chances we coughed up to Newcastle the other day, because these guys are this is top of the train here. This is top of the gravy here. These players. And they will take those chances. As always, let us know your predicted lineup in the comments. I think the team more or less picks itself if Núñez is fit. And also let us know your score prediction. Tomorrow night we will be back with a match reaction about 10:15. I'll also be back at 8 o'clock tonight with the Monday mashup, where we're going to be talking title race. We're going to be talking takeovers. We're going to be talking Dickie Davis. We're going to be talking all the results from the weekend and give our thoughts on the top 4 race, the title race, and all that other good stuff. Until next time, folks, an absolutely pleasure bringing you the show. You will never walk alone. If you want to catch us, we're on all the social medias out there, the Upper Tier and Shankly Sessions on Twitter. And we will talk to you again real soon.